Josh Allen was one of these guys where I wondered when the season ended, are we going to hear a few days later he's had surgery? Just like Jalen Hurts. After the Super Bowl, I'm thinking, are we going to find out he had shoulder surgery? And if he did, we haven't found it out yet. But Josh Allen, that injury he suffered back in November, it looked bad. It looked like he was going to miss time. There's that question heading into that epic game against the Vikings. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is it going to be Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs, the two ends of the Minneapolis Miracle, taking on the Vikings, which would have been something? Here's the injury against the Jets, where he's throwing. And it was the same thing that happened to Brock Purdy. And, hey, it messed Brock Purdy up a hell of a lot more than it messed up Josh Allen. So Allen on track, no surgery. He'll be fine playing golf, et cetera, et cetera. But it just shows you, when you get caught in that awkward position, and this is why they protect quarterbacks, folks. I'm not in favor of a hyper-aggressive application of the roughing rules, but this is why they protect quarterbacks. They're in an extremely delicate posture. They're not just standing there. They're moving against the flow of these very large, fast, strong men. Your body is going this way. They are coming that way. That's how you get yourself injured.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those risks that you have whenever you're standing back there, like a sitting duck. And now, like we were talking about at the top of the show, you got these really, really fast and strong defensive linemen. They're coming through. They're coming at you. And even Josh Allen, is big and as strong and as tough as he is in that vulnerable position. So it's good that he didn't need surgery. As being said, he's playing golf. He's doing these different things, and he'll be ready to go for the offseason program. And I really think that this is going to be a critical offseason program for Buffalo, Mike, because of everything that happened last year when it comes to the end of the season. They just were not good enough. They weren't playing their best football at the end of the year. And you saw how they got steamrolled by Cincinnati at home in the snow. That's where Buffalo is supposed to thrive, and they just did not do it. They've got to get back on track early and get that nastiness of the taste out of your mouth from that second straight divisional loss.
One thing that I've learned over the years of being in this business and going to the events like the Combine, where we have a setup as part of the car wash that the coaches and the general managers may or may not participate in, at different stages of the life cycle of a coaching staff / front office, they can be very willing and accommodating and happy to show up and spread the gospel as it relates to the Buffalo Bills or the Dallas Cowboys. I made this point yesterday in the context of Mike McCarthy when he became the coach of the Cowboys. Yeah, sure, he shows up, 25-minute conversation, great, everything's fine. Now, not doing anything, out the door. Bills not doing anything, out the door. I really do think, and I think one of the reasons they wouldn't come on our show is I've been a little too candid with my thought that Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are under pressure because you've got Josh Allen, and what do you have to show for it? You have one AFC Championship appearance, 2 straight divisional round losses with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, guy who's on par with Patrick Mahomes. Where's the talent around him?
And Joe Burrow.
Where's the key coaching moves? Right, the key coaching moves made at the right time. Where is that? And I really do think that one or both of those guys is on hot seat on 10 going into the 2023 season, Myles. And that's one of the reasons why they're keeping their heads low and their mouths shut when it comes to doing the media that isn't the cluster of people who cover the team.
Well, and look, and now there's even more pressure on Sean McDermott with Leslie Frazier deciding to step away from the 2023 season. And, it's kind of interesting the way that came out and the timing of it, the beginning of Combine week. And now they don't really know yet who's going to call plays. Is it going to be Sean McDermott? Is it going to be somebody else on the staff? It's stuff that they are still working through. So there's a lot of different things that are going to go into this Bills 2023 season and how successful they are or not. But I also just want to say, look, I added Joe Burrow in there because I think when we talk about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, sometimes we leave Joe Burrow out of the equation a little bit too much. Cincinnati Bengals have done more in the last 2 years than the Buffalo Bills, like by a lot. So, whenever we're talking about these top dudes, we need to make sure that Joe Burrow is in that conversation because he's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 straight AFC championship games. Josh Allen hasn't done that.
I agree with you, and I'm glad that you pointed that out. As it relates to Leslie Frazier, if we accept the fact that this was truly voluntary on his part and that it wasn't some sort of a delayed reaction, soft firing, weeks after their season ended, it could be that he just decided, man, it's going to be rough this year. There's a lot of heat on everybody. I can already sense it right, in the discussions we're having, I can already sense that the heat's turned up on Sean McDermott. The heat's turned up on the front office. They know. And that was one of the concerns going into the 2022 season. Everybody's picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. It's like, why is the pressure on us? The Bengals are the ones who went there last year. The Chiefs are the perennial favorites. Why the hell are we the ones? What have we done in 30 years? Why are you putting all the pressure on us? And maybe Leslie Frazier decided, as Danny Glover said in Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'm getting too old for this shit. Maybe that's what he decided. I don't know. I know I'm getting too old for this shit. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.